Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your very first time here. My name is Troy, and today I'm going to be sharing the most recent update to my Anyone Can Invest portfolio. Currently, I'm doing this series every other week, but it doesn't really get as many views as I think it does. I do think it's still helpful, so I want to hear from you guys down in the comments. If I'm not doing this every other week, what is a frequency that you guys would want to see updates to this portfolio? Again, I want to do it more than like once a year because I think there's information that you guys need to know between now and then, but I don't know if it needs to be bi-weekly since it's such a small portfolio. But anyway, like I said, let me know down in the comments. But now let's see where we were last episode. All right, so looking here, last episode, we had a cost basis total. How much it was invested in each stock was sitting at that $300 mark, just under, because, you know, Fidelity does what Fidelity does. The current value of the portfolio was sitting at $3,671.32. And the portfolio was going through some hard times, but did close in the green for that episode, up $64.66. or 1.8%. So now we're going to look at, we had that $5 invested into each and every stock, $60 added to the portfolio, $5 into each stock. This past, it was the 17th of April. And now here's the imbalance chart. We have a $305 goal. You guys can see the current amount of each and every holding in the portfolio, and then the amount to goal. Again, if it's anything under $1, I can't make it any closer than that. So that's what it is. So actually, all these stocks, all 12 of these stocks added up, were $1.86 off of perfect balance, which is actually, you know, better than last episode. I think last episode was like $2.16 or something like that. So $1.86 off of perfect balance. So you like to see that. So next, this is actually a crazy chart right here. So as I was updating the numbers, you guys can see episode 59. This is what that position was up or down all time in the portfolio, obviously. So you guys can see like AbbVie was at 8.73. Now it's at 8.32. So it had a negative 0.41, basically 0.5% down since last episode. So over the past 2 weeks, but go down two more to AVGO. I was up 57%. Now we're up 101.17%. It went up 44.17% in 2 weeks. That's nuts. So we had, you guys can see there's a bunch of really good performers. You have AVGO up double digits, Humana up double digits, ODFL up double digit, and STLD up double digits. So that's 4 different stocks up over 10% in just 2 weeks. That's pretty nuts. So you guys will see here in a second what that did to the overall portfolio, but I don't want to get too far. So here is this chart. Again, I'm going to try to do this live, so you guys will see, you know, hopefully it comes out good in editing. But this chart, lifetime momentum, it's basically what I just showed you, but this is episode by episode breakdowns. You guys can see each and every stock and how it's been performing, where it was in the portfolio all time and stuff like that. So you guys will be able to see, for the most part, like AVGO has been basically at the top the whole time, and a lot of other stocks have been jockeying for position, but there's been stocks that have been our worst and they got to the middle and so on. So here at the very end of this, again, I don't know why I do that, but AVGO, you can see that crazy bump. So you like to see that. So next, this is the best and worst performers. So here's where we're going to get to see portfolio value for the first time and how the portfolio is performing. So AVGO is our best performer all time, up that 101.17%. Our worst performer is actually Intuit. It passed AVGO, or not AVGO, it passed HUM for the worst performer, which HUM passed, I don't know. Either way, Intuit's now the worst performer, down $109.48 or 35.91%, almost 36%. So now the account balance, again, I only added $60 to the portfolio, but we've crossed the $4,000 mark. We're at $4,066.88. The portfolio's back in the green by nearly $400. We're at $398.49 in the green, or 10.89%. So we went from like, what was it, 1 point something percent last episode 2 weeks ago to up 10.89% in just 2 weeks. Again, large part because of AVGO, but we did have some stocks that underperformed, or I should say lost money over the past 2 weeks too. So, you know, those kind of balance each other out. But anyhow, okay. So next thing we're going to look at is this full portfolio performance. So I'm going to play it on my end. So this is, instead of looking stock by stock, this is the portfolio as a whole, episode by episode, how it ebbs and how it flows. So you guys can see ups, downs, ups, downs, ups, downs. It gets all the way down, and you'll see like there's been multiple times where the portfolio has been in the negative. Sometimes it's bigger drops than others. Sometimes it comes right back. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So I'm not going to lie. I'm the same as you guys. If you guys feel any type of way over the last, I don't know, month or 6 weeks, maybe 2 months of the portfolio being down and you're starting to question a little bit of things about your portfolio, I was there. I'm still there. And obviously it's the same portfolio, the same holdings. And then all of a sudden everything just clicks and the market starts making money. And you're like, of course it does. My portfolio is flawless. So, that's a thing that we do have to balance, and we want to be honest with ourselves. And one of the main reasons that I ask myself often, I'm like, hey, are individual positions for me, or should I just, switch to ETFs and just focus on like, NASDAQ and S&P and just kind of hands-off approach and just keep adding the same amount of money to, those 2 positions versus, 12 different individual holdings. But that's just a little peek into my brain, which you don't want to be in for too long. So next up, what has come into the account in terms of dividends over the past 2 weeks. So on April 10th, we received $1.15 from Steel Dynamics. Here's this chart. You guys will be able to see that $1.15 down at the bottom on April 10th. You guys will be able to also notice every single payment is more than the last payment, which we do like. In total, STLD is now paid us $5.55 or 8.12% of the dividends in this account. Then on April 17th, 1 week later, we received 58 cents from INTU, our portfolio's worst performer. Again, looking at their chart, every single payment is more than the last. This one has a really low yield, so the payments are obviously a lot less. So that 58 cents down at the bottom, previous one was 48 cents. Intuit is now up to $2.58 all time, or 3.77% of the total dividends in this account. So what we're going to do now is we're going to round up all these numbers, and I'm going to show you, I don't have to talk about March because it's not March anymore. So what we're just going to do is we're just going to look at April. So in April, we're now up to $2.37, which, again, anybody new here, that's not anything crazy, right? But we started this portfolio from $0. We started it on the channel. We've tracked every 2 weeks since then. So you guys can see for April, which I'm recording this on April 19th, we're already 17.3% higher than April of 2025, which was the second year this portfolio was in existence. And I'm pretty sure you will see at the end of the video, I didn't really pay too much attention to it, but I'm pretty sure we have more dividends left to come for this month. So we're just going to bump that number even higher. And again, we did that last year when we went from 45 cents in 2024 to $2.02 in 2025. So that was already a big bump. And we're like, oh, surely, like, that's just year 1 to year 2. Like, that was the easy bar to clear. Okay, well, here we are in year 3, and we're now clearing that bar that we set pretty high, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep raising the bar and hoping that next year we do so even more. So in total, for the year so far, we're at $28.68, $2.39 per month, and we're only 11.7% off of what was made in all of 2025, and we're not done with April yet. So we like to see that. So next slide up is the bonus investment. So you guys will be able to see, I'm going to go quickly over this. Current patty is sitting at $40.01. The current biweekly patty sits at $1.54 every other week. We have $10.25 in cash. Our first bonus investment was completed on January 9th of this year. And our next projected bonus investment date, there it is for July 26th of 2027. So not this July, but the following July. I believe that's actually the same bonus investment date that we had projected last episode. Again, I would like to see more progress in that. The thing I will say that is good is we're really close to being in perfect balance. What was it, $1.86 or something like that from perfect balance? So in past episodes when it was doing auto investments and I didn't have to do anything crazy to it, I was probably like $5 or $6 away from perfect balance. Even though I was under $1 for each holding, a lot of them were sitting at like 95 cents, 87 cents, 73 cents, like that kind of thing. Now they're sitting at like 5 cents, 11 cents, 8 cents. So because more of our capital is deployed like it should always be, because I'm having to do these investments manually for now, it's keeping the bonus investment money lower, which makes it look like it'll take longer. But like I said, all that money's going in there. That way, when those companies do pay dividends and stuff, we're going to actually get a couple cents more than we would have, which is nice. So I'm not worried about this being so stagnant. It actually went up a little bit and then it's sat here for a while. I'm not worried about that. I do think in the next episode or two, again, whenever those do come out, because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this continuing bi-weekly unless you guys say, hey, Troy, no, keep it bi-weekly. We love this. But like I said, the views don't support that. So anyway, whenever the next one does come out, we're going to have, progress to this. I do plan on, regardless if this changes from bi-weekly to, I don't know, monthly or quarterly or whatever it is, I do plan to still gather all these numbers bi-weekly. And that way I have like a stable, increment of time every 2 weeks. I'm gathering information, and I'll just present like any, big milestones reached since last episode or where we currently sit at, current episode or whatever. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Again, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. So I think before we close this episode out, we're going to look at this calendar. So I actually got an update to my dividend app. I forget what it's called. But this dividend app, so it changed it. I don't know. This is different. I don't know that I like it or don't like it. It's just different. So I have to get used to it, I guess. But the thing that we have on here, so this now mentions earnings. And again, I'm unprepared. So I have to pull this up to see which those earnings are because it won't tell me. So I got this picture on the 18th. That's why you can see that little dot in there. We already passed the ex-dividend dates on the 15th, so we're not going to worry about those. So between now and let's just do the end of the month because we don't know when that next episode is going to come out. That's up to you guys. So we have earnings on the 22nd, which is from CSL. I don't really do too much about earnings, which is another reason I'm thinking about possibly doing more ETFs in the portfolio and less individual stocks. But so earnings from CSL, and then KNSL is the earnings on the 23rd. And then we have our Humana dividend, which it's looking like it's supposed to be 99 cents. Take it or leave it, plus or minus kind of thing. I'm not sure if it'll be exactly 99 cents, but let's just project it for that. Then we get down to earnings on the 28th, and the earnings on the 28th are from PHM, so Plute Group, and STLD. And then we have a dividend payment from ALG on the 29th, and there's actually 3 earnings. So you have AbbVie on that day, Humana on that day, and ODFL on that day. And then on the 30th, the end of the month, is the interest payment from the cash sitting in the account waiting for the bonus investment. So a couple things left still to come for the month. A busy month for earnings, that is. And then we have 2 more payments from actual holdings and 1 more payment from interest. So up there at the very top, up by the little gear thing and the 3 dots, you guys can see that April was projected for $3.99. That can change a little bit based on like ex-dividend dates and then like the new investment. So if the new investment comes in right before the ex-dividend date, then I'll get a couple more pennies here or there. It shouldn't really ever be lower than that, which is kind of good for us because we're already, like I said, we're already 17% past last month. So we like to see all that. Anyway, so like I said, let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this series, how frequent you want those videos to come out. And like I said, I've recorded every single episode for more than 2 years bi-weekly of updates to this portfolio, just so you guys can see what it's like to start from the ground up in a brand new dividend portfolio. It can be really, demeaning sometimes when you're getting a couple pennies here or a nickel or a dime over here, but it does grow. You got to keep at it. Everything starts somewhere and you got to start somewhere too. So I really want to hear from you guys down in the comments. Let me know how frequent you want these to come out. I really want you guys to watch the series. If you're interested, I'll link it at the end of this video. But until next time, see ya.